Ivan Pavlov, a Russian physiologist and psychologist, is best known for his groundbreaking work on conditioned reflexes. His research laid the foundation for behaviorism and transformed the understanding of learning processes in both humans and animals. The concept of conditioned reflexes has had profound implications not only in psychology but also in fields such as education, animal training, and therapy. This essay explores Pavlov's experiments, the principles of conditioned reflexes, their significance in psychology, and their practical applications. Pavlov's background and initial research. Pavlov was born on September 26, 1849, in Ryazan, Russia. He initially pursued a career in theology but shifted to natural sciences, ultimately earning a degree in medicine. His early research focused on the physiology of the digestive system, particularly the role of saliva in digestion. It was during these studies that Pavlov made his famous discovery regarding conditioned reflexes. Pavlov's research on digestion involved measuring the salivary responses of dogs when they were presented with food. He noticed that the dogs would begin to salivate not only when they tasted the food, but also when they heard the sound of the lab assistant's footsteps or saw the food dish. This observation led him to investigate further the nature of these responses. The experiment, unconditioned and conditioned stimuli. In his experiments, Pavlov identified two types of stimuli: unconditioned stimuli, US, and conditioned stimuli, CS. An unconditioned stimulus is one that naturally elicits a response without prior conditioning. For example, food is an unconditioned stimulus because it automatically causes salivation in dogs. The salivation response is termed the unconditioned response, UR. Pavlov then introduced a neutral stimulus, a bell sound, just before presenting the food to the dogs. Initially, the bell did not produce any salivation. However, after several pairings of the bell with the food, the dogs began to salivate at the sound of the bell alone. The bell became a conditioned stimulus, and the salivation in response to the bell was termed the conditioned response, CR. This process of learning through association is known as classical conditioning, and Pavlov's work provided a systematic method for studying how associations form. He identified several key principles of classical conditioning, including acquisition, extinction, spontaneous recovery, generalization, and discrimination. Principles of classical conditioning. 1. Acquisition. This is the initial stage of learning when a response is first established and gradually strengthened. In Pavlov's experiments, acquisition occurs when the dogs learn to associate the bell with food. 2. Extinction. If the conditioned stimulus is presented repeatedly without the unconditioned stimulus, the conditioned response will gradually diminish and eventually disappear. For example, if the bell is rung without food, the dogs will stop salivating to the bell over time. 3. Spontaneous recovery. After a pause following extinction, if the conditioned stimulus is presented again, the conditioned response may briefly reappear. This phenomenon indicates that the learned association was not completely forgotten. 4. Generalization. This occurs when stimuli similar to the conditioned stimulus also elicit the conditioned response. For example, if a dog conditioned to salivate at the sound of a bell also salivates at the sound of a similar tone, it demonstrates generalization. 5. Discrimination. In contrast to generalization, discrimination occurs when an organism learns to respond only to the conditioned stimulus and not to similar stimuli. For example, a dog may learn to salivate only to a specific bell sound and not to other sounds. Significance of Pavlov's work. Pavlov's research on conditioned reflexes had far-reaching implications for psychology and the understanding of behavior. His findings provided a scientific basis for the study of learning processes, emphasizing the role of environmental stimuli in shaping behavior. This approach shifted the focus in psychology from introspection and subjective experience to observable behaviors and measurable responses. Pavlov's work laid the foundation for behaviorism, a school of thought that dominated psychology in the early 20th century. Behaviorists such as John B. Watson and B.F. Skinner built upon Pavlov's principles to develop theories and methodologies focused on conditioning and reinforcement. Applications of conditioned reflexes. Pavlov's discoveries about conditioned reflexes have found numerous practical applications in various fields. Some notable applications include: 1. Education. Understanding conditioned reflexes can enhance teaching methods and learning experiences. Educators can create positive associations between learning activities and rewards, making learning more effective and enjoyable. 2. Therapy. Classical conditioning principles are used in behavioral therapies, such as systematic desensitization for phobias. Therapists can help clients develop new, positive associations with stimuli that previously caused anxiety or fear. 3. Animal training. Animal trainers often use classical conditioning techniques to teach animals desired behaviors. For example, trainers can condition dogs to respond to commands by pairing them with rewards like treats or praise. 4. Marketing and advertising. Marketers leverage conditioned reflexes by associating products with positive emotions or experiences. For instance, advertisements often feature attractive images, catchy jingles, or celebrity endorsements to create favorable associations with their products. 5. Health and medicine. Conditioned reflexes play a role in understanding certain health behaviors, such as addiction. For instance, cues associated with drug use can trigger cravings and relapse in individuals recovering from addiction. Critiques and limitations. Despite its significant contributions, Pavlov's work and the behaviorist approach have faced critiques. Critics argue that classical conditioning oversimplifies the complexities of human behavior and learning. While it emphasizes environmental factors, it often neglects cognitive processes and the role of internal mental states. Additionally, some researchers have pointed out that not all behaviors can be explained through conditioning alone, as innate and cognitive factors also play essential roles in learning and behavior. Moreover, the strict focus on observable behaviors may overlook the emotional and motivational aspects of learning. Contemporary psychology has since integrated cognitive and emotional components into the understanding of learning and behavior, leading to more comprehensive theories that account for both external stimuli and internal cognitive processes. Ivan Pavlov's work on conditioned reflexes fundamentally changed the landscape of psychology and our understanding of learning. His meticulous research demonstrated how organisms can learn through association, providing a framework that has influenced various fields, from education to therapy and marketing. While his work has been critiqued for its limitations, it remains a cornerstone of psychological study, highlighting the importance of environmental influences on behavior. As research continues to evolve, the principles of classical conditioning still resonate, serving as a foundation for understanding the complexities of learning and behavior in both humans and animals.